come on up. I'm going to get you mic'd up. Debbie has gone through an unfortunate incident, something that nobody wants to go through. But it was earlier this year, last year, late last year.
No, it was early last
Early
year.
last year. Oh my God, it's taking so long. She unfortunately lost her home. So her home was destroyed in a fire. I had the opportunity to go and tour it just a couple of weeks ago and see the updates. That was really cool. But there's been a lot of lessons. And when Debbie was going through what she's been through trying to get this home back to a state that's livable, I said, you have to come and speak here, because this is stuff that we don't talk about enough, is insurance issues. And so I'm not going to say anything more. I'm going to let you take it away. Just hit that button for your slides and you're good to go. So Debbie, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I am a real estate investor, a real estate investing coach. But what I'm going to talk to you today is about my principal residence, but it applies to your investment properties too. So, it's across the board. So on Mother's Day, 2023, at 9:30 p.m., my house ignited. My neighbor's hot tub, which was right against my fence, went on fire. It started smoking at 9 p.m., according to our other neighbor's doorbell. And by 9:30, both houses were on fire, like full fire. Right? It got upgraded to a commercial fire because the homes are, although single detached, they're close together. It's a Bearland Strata community. So I had 4 fire hoses on my home, and there were 6 fire trucks that came out. Right. So another investor, he was driving by, and he messaged me and he says, "Deb, I see there's a fire in your complex. Are you okay?" And I went, "No, it's mine." So, that's a picture of it on fire there. There's my son. No shirt, no shoes. Right? We just had to run out. Yeah. And the fire trucks weren't even there yet. So, and that's, anyway, but
Sorry, what city is that?
Langley.
In Langley.
Yeah, Walnut Grove. So I'm always a person that looks at things though as, okay, it happened. What can we learn from it? I actually got on my knees that same night on this driveway to ask God, get us through this. But what is my lesson to learn? So one of those lessons is I want to share with all of you. And it's around insurance. Oh, I did the wrong thing, Stan. Okay, the other one, yeah. So things that I didn't know that I want you to know, right? When it comes to your insurance policies, there are 2 types of policies. What I don't have is a guaranteed replacement cost, which means guaranteed replacement is everything, like whatever it costs to rebuild that house, they have to pay it. Right? So they'll do a calculation. Both will do a calculation of allowances you're going to pay your premiums on, but the guaranteed replacement will, if it goes over that amount, they have to pay it. I have what's called single allowance, right? Which it's nice in the sense that if you say there are other things that's in your policy, right? There's the rebuild, there's what's called the additional living expenses, because now I'm out of my home. They're paying, the insurance policy is paying for my rental expenses. However, that's an allowance. Right? When I lost my home, everybody goes, "Oh, well, you're insured. It's really bad that it's happened, but you'll be okay." Well, it hasn't been okay because I'm still out of my home. It's over, like we were saying, it was Mother's Day of 2023, and my home's still not built yet. It's just Cam's just walked. We just did the behind the walls tour, so I could, all of the electrical and everything. So that's where we're at the moment. My neighbor's house, who caused the fire, right? They have a much better insurance company than mine. Their house is rebuilt and they're already in the home, right? So don't think I'm alone in this. When I go for insurance, like you were busy saying, okay, what's my premium? You trust your insurance broker that you're covered, and you just sign, right? Stop that. Start looking at exactly what are you getting covered for? How will it work if something happens, right? So my my ALE, my additional living expenses, is 96,000. The first home, they're supposed to replace, like put you in a rental home the same size as your home. Well, that rental home, I ended up in Maple Ridge because I wanted something quickly to get in quickly, and just through our real estate network was able to find someone who had just renovated a house and had it available, a 5-bedroom home. That was $5,000. And then garbage you have to pay for in Maple Ridge, and I had to pay for like lawn care and that sort of stuff. So I started looking, it started taking me into like closer to the 6,000. Now I have 96,000. So at 6,000 a month, how long is that going to last me, right? When that is up, I have to pay the rent. It comes out of my pocket, right? So that's something to consider. Like, so look at those all of those allowances, and how much is it going to cost you? Also, your content insurance. We think, oh, I've had that for years, blah blah blah. Like I bought it for this much. Don't worry about how much you bought it for. How much are you going to have to spend to replace it today? Right? When we worry about the premiums. If we put more, we're going to, we're going to have to pay more, and we're trying to reduce our premiums. However, as I have back here, it happens to other people, but it doesn't happen to you, right? That's what you think all the time. It's not going to happen to me. It's a pain to pay this insurance, like that sort of stuff. But when I saw my fence on fire, stupidly in my head, I still didn't think my house was going to go up on fire. I thought fire trucks will get here, put it out, and my home will be fine. Right? Lost everything. Everything. I managed to save photos because they were in the basement in Rubbermaid containers. So something to do, because then it didn't get any water damage, right? So yeah. So that single allowance, the way they sell it to you is that if you run, so if I run out of my ALE and I don't use all of my content insurance, then I can take my content insurance to pay for my additional living expenses, all right? And that sort of stuff. But right now, so talking about insurance brokers, and you just trust them, they do a calculation and tell you this is how much your allowance is, and you trust it. Don't. I am in shortfall $300,000 to rebuild my home. And I didn't have a mortgage. Right? So now I've got to tap into my own expenses. What I'm going to do though is take my content insurance to put to the build, so my house will be empty. But at least I'm going to have a roof over my head. Right? But I didn't think at 55 years of age, I'm starting from scratch. Right? Yeah, calculating your coverage. So this is it, right? So they, the brokerage, they tell you, oh, ask you how many square feet is your home, and they do a calculation, and they say, okay, this is how much you need to be covered for. You find out from a builder how much it is to rebuild a home like when you're renewing. How much is it really to rebuild your home? Because $770,000 is how much it is to rebuild my home. $480,000 is how much I'm covered for.
I'd just like to point out too, you're not rebuilding it from
scratch,
right? So that's still the cost.
I didn't have to knock it down. We took it back to studs. We had to take it back to studs. However, to take it back to the studs, the insurance company brought in the restoration company. I had no control over that, and I should have. right? I should be able to choose my own restoration company, my own architect, my own engineer, but they did these things. They commissioned people and then sent me the invoice to sign off on. It's not the insurance company's money, it's your money, right? Because I need to need to manage that so that I now with my build now, so it was $60,000 to just pull back the insides, the studs, so that the engineer can come in and say, is it a knockdown or not? They wanted to pull everything back to studs right at the beginning. And imagine if that was a knockdown. So that's 60,000 there that I spent just to do that. And if they had come in, the engineer had come in and say it was a knockdown, that's 60,000 gone. Guess where that 60,000 came out of? My rebuild allowance. So now I'm at 420,000. The architect was 7,000 or more. The engineer was 8,000. So add those up plus my rebuild. Right? So yeah, way under. So I'm telling everyone, like either get guaranteed replacement, or if you're going to get the single allowance because it sounds great, make sure you get actual thing. But you know, I'm doing it right now. They're renewing. I'm telling for my present home, and they're trying to tell me 600,000, like 625,000 is enough. I'm like, I'm paying 770,000. I know how much it costs. Like I've got actual costs right now. You know, no way. And then I'm asking them to then, you know, knowing what I know about the, you know, pulling it back and the other costs, I said, no, like 800,000 at least. I want, and we'll see what the underwriters say. This is Westland Insurance, by the way, everyone. So if you have Westland, get out. Get out. Because I'm not the only one that's faced this. They've also caused delays after delays after delays on this for no reason. 6 months to decide on my scope of work. When the engineer was in there in September, and you know the consulting team was in there, they sent it to me. I went through it along with someone that I'm having advocate for me. So another builder came in, they did the work. Like, so I could say all about the finishes that were incorrect on their scope of work. And then he was talking about the things behind the scenes, the technical stuff that I didn't know about. We got it back to them right away. Not until March did they come back with that. They kept going back and forth with me, telling me that my basement was not done by permit. Right? I was, you know, and I kept saying, look, just do the scope of work exactly as you see it. I will deal with the township if there's a problem. Then I eventually thought, what am I doing? I picked up the phone and called the township, and township says, yeah, there's a permit. We sent it to the architect. Right? 6 months, and the claims person that I'm the adjuster and dealing with is an outside person. So this is another company, a third party company that they've hired to look after it. No empathy whatsoever. Like 2 weeks later, he'll come back with one word like answers on there, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Today, I've started my build on my own money. They still haven't, although the bid came through, they've agreed on the bid. They haven't paid out on that bid. So I've started with my own builder that was not part of the bid, using my own money, using my HELOC, right, in order to pay for this. And I just got a check on Monday for some of it, but still not how much I've shelled out so far. Right? So it wouldn't have been even started yet if I didn't start it on my own. So something to know about rental properties, though, they don't have guaranteed replacement costs. They only have replacement costs. So on your rental properties, the same thing. Make sure that you know, we want to get more cash flow. We don't want to pay as high, but what if this happens? Right? If you're not going to pay to the insurance company, then put aside the money in an account in case this happens. That will compensate for that shortfall on there. And then there's something called, they're public adjusters, and then there's insurance lawyers. So I didn't even know about these public adjusters. All I knew is like they're like ambulance tracers, honestly. They contacted me the day after the fire. They said that they've got insurance backgrounds. They deal with all these things. I got references from them on people that they've dealt with in the Okanagan. With Westland, they were having a nightmare too with it. But so they will advocate on your behalf. So they understand the policy, and it was good because they explained this whole single allowance, because today the insurance company still hasn't explained to me what that meant, right? What I can and cannot do. However, what I found with them is that they've now created another problem for me, because instead of being proactive, they've only been reactive. So instead of going through the stuff, being on top of it, going back to the insurance company saying, what's happening here, get things done, they only have been reacting when I reach out and say, what's happening? And they flow through. So now, as soon as you get a lawyer or an adjuster, somebody else acting on your behalf with the insurance company, they stop speaking to you. Yep, they don't want to hear. You've put somebody else in there, they're going to speak on your behalf. So now I have to go through the public adjuster, wait for them to answer me, right? And then they're going to send it to the adjuster for the insurance company. And then we'll wait for that to come back. So daisy chain back to me, right? They're not even filtering through the information they're getting from the claims adjuster to say this is not right, this is not right. When it comes to me, I'm sending it back going, this is not right, what's this, what does this mean? I've recently found out, because now I'm in shortfall, what do? Right? So my insurance company will eventually sue my neighbor's insurance company to get back the money, but they're only covering me for how much I'm covered for. So I've called up some insurance lawyers. Luckily, I found one that happens to be a friend of my cousin's, and she's actually worked for me before on a car accident that I had, that she will take me on. But you know what they're saying? They're saying, unless I brought the whole portfolio to them with the content insurance, like that part is the easy part, right? For them, they don't want to look at it, right? And because if they will do the same as the public adjuster, help me with everything there, but they will litigate on my behalf, which is something I didn't know that we had insurance lawyers that would do all of this. So it would deal with the insurance company, right? And you can just step back. Yeah, but they would litigate on my behalf. But now these public adjusters, they don't do litigation. So the lawyer doesn't want to, the ones I've spoken to before Paulina, they don't want to look at mine if it's, because it's less than 500,000. And they're going to take 30% of what I get. These public adjusters are taking 10% of what I get, and they have not reduced my stress. Like, that was the whole point of getting them there. As real estate investors, we say, get people who know what they're talking about, so you can get on with your life and they can take care of it. No, they haven't reduced my stress at all. I've had to deal with all of this. Like, I had to pick up the phone with the township to sort out this back and forth that I don't have a permit on there. So yeah, so the insurance lawyers will litigate and help you with everything. They know that. Now I don't have, I have to go separately. But and then if I was over 500,000, which I could be, I don't know at this point, because all the numbers haven't come in. He wants 30% of what I get. 30%. So I'll still be in shortfall. So, yeah. So around that, like, understand your insurance policy. Ask them, where is it guaranteed? Ask them what's going to happen. How does it work? Know that you've got your content insurance. You've got like outside is on a separate to the rebuild. There's like, decks and those kind of things. There's landscaping. All of those are all separate on your policy. So look at those. If you've got a big garden, like a big backyard, you've got, you know, a coach house or anything like that. So be aware of that. Okay. So here's lessons that I've learned from the actual fire. Have a go bag near your exit. We left our home. We had no underwear, no toothbrushes, no clothes, like my son, no shirt, no shoes. We lost it all. Right? So have something that you can, with underwear, with toothbrushes, with toothpaste, you know, a change of clothing, so that if when you have to run out, because usually fires happen at nighttime. Right? So you're usually in your pajamas, or you know, like my boys, they had no, it was hot that Mother's Day, so you know they didn't have any clothes on. Do a video walkthrough of your home. Like if you can get a Matterport, like it's about $300. How much is it? Yeah, yeah, but it's great. Like get that video walkthrough of it, that virtual walkthrough, because when the fire destroys everything like it did with my place, and it's really dark in there too, you can see, you have proof of your finishes when you're dealing with the insurance company. The other thing, take photos. Take photos of your valuables, but take photos of your closets. Like we have an inventory list of over 3,000 items, and I'm sure we're still missing stuff that's on there. They went in and did their inventory, but it was missing things. There also the brand names and things like that they were calling it were not right on there. So you want something to jog your memory. You can't take a picture of everything you have. But if you've got some really valuable stuff, make sure you take pictures of it. I had one of those books that you're supposed to take for like pictures and put in it, and I never bothered. I just luckily happened to have had my home appraised, because I extended my HELOC in 2022, and the appraiser didn't want to come in because of COVID, right? Beginning of 2022. Like all of that was over. Maybe he was just being lazy, but luckily, so he wanted me to take pictures of the house, send it to him, and he based it on that, on the pictures. So I happen to have pictures of the home that I can prove, and that helped me to. But you know, have pictures of your closets and things like that that will trigger. Oh, I had that suit. I had those shoes. You know, that will, you know, because you're not, you know what you had there if as soon as you see it. But when you're trying to, like, from a blank memory, trying to picture your whole house of what you had, it's, you know, it's extremely difficult. Have a fire retardant safe. So I had, you know, the question, if you have 2 minutes, what do you save? I had that moment. Fire out there. It's coming towards our house. We should have run out. My neighbor, who is a fireman, had a few choice words for us when he came into our house. But we all had like 2 minutes. We ran back in and we grabbed something. I grabbed a file folder that I had with our IDs in it, our birth certificates, our passports, that sort of stuff. My oldest son grabbed, he had no shoe, the one with no shoes, no shirt, but he grabbed his laptop and his two cameras, because he's a content creator, and he says, this house is going up, I've got to earn money. And my younger one just went and put some clothes on. Right? So, but have a fire retardant safe, because I did have a metal, filing cabinet, and the stuff in there wasn't it was smoky, all right, and it wasn't closed properly, but it was protected, and it was where a lot of the fire was, like my office and my son's room, like it was like my younger son room was just incinerated. And in my office, a lot of my stuff, which the tax man, I won't have any receipts to prove. It's all burned to the fire. But yeah, but have a fire retardant safe for those, for your IDs, for that information, because it will save it. right? And then the Rubbermaid containers for your put your like photos and things like that, because a lot of the damage is not just like the fire was up, came along the back wall, right? And like my younger son room was disintegrated, but a lot of the other stuff was all smoke and water damage that was in there. That's what damaged everything, and it doesn't come out, right? So you can't. So if you put like all the things that we had in Rubbermaid containers, it stayed well. Some Christmas decorations that I had to. It's really sad. I was still going through the trauma, and I went into those Christmas decorations, and I opened it up, the Rubbermaid container, and I was in tears. I was like, it smells like home.